In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to crochet this really cute headband / ear warmers. You can use it as either. I get some use out of mine most months out of the year. It's similar in pattern to my men's crochet beanie. It has the same ribbed design on it. So if you're interested, keep watching. And if you're new here, hello, I'm Leisha from With Love Leisha. I'm a self-taught crochet artist and designer, and I try to make beginner-friendly tutorials that are clear and simple and help ease some of the frustrations of learning crochet online. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. And if you enjoy this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. Now let's get into it. A few things you'll need for this project: some yarn, and you can use any yarn you like because we're just going to measure the headband itself for fit. You only need one skein and you can get several headbands out of it, so you don't need to worry about grabbing too much yarn. You can even use up what's in your stash. I'll link details on the colors and where you can find them in the description box. You will need a crochet hook, and I used a size H 5.0 mm for the Caron Simply Soft. I used a size I 5.5 mm for the loops and threads, but you can go with the hook that goes with the yarn you're using, and you can find the appropriate size at the back of the yarn's packaging. You'll need some scissors to cut your yarn, and you'll need a tapestry needle or a yarn needle, darning needle, whatever you want to call it, just something with a large eye to get your yarn through. We're going to use this to sew our headband together and to hide our yarn tails at the end. Optional is a tape measure, and this is just to measure the size, length, width of your headband, but you can totally just measure it around your head if you're cool with that. The first thing we need to do to get our headband going is get our yarn on our hook with a slip knot. You can do this any way you like. I like to lay my yarn over my hook with the tail facing away from me. Bring the tail over the longer piece of yarn, yarn over, and pull through that loop. And then you're going to pull on the tail to tighten. And I will link 3 different ways to make a slip knot for you in the top right. Now we're going to make a foundation chain, and this is going to be how wide your headband is. So you're going to continue chaining until you are happy with the width of your headband. And you can measure this across your ears or over your head, however you want to wear the headband. So we're just going to yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, and continue doing that until you are happy with the width of your headband. Starting right here from this very first chain that my loop is coming out of, and all the way down to the last. I have 15. So each of these loops at the top is one chain. And now we're going to work a row of half double crochet stitches. So this is going to be our first row. And we're going to yarn over. Before the half double crochet stitch, you always yarn over, and we're going to work into the second chain from the hook. So this is the first that my loop that's on my hook is coming out of, and this is the second. We're going to go into the center of that second chain. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. I'm going to yarn over again. Now we're going to work into the next chain. So this is where our stitch is already placed. We're going into the next one. Go right into the center of that chain. Get just the top loop on your hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So you're going to keep doing that all the way down. struggling to figure out where your last chain is, just go ahead and from your tail, push up and just tighten up that knot, and that will tell you what your last chain is. Now we're going to start on row 2. So before we do, let's just make sure that we do have one less stitch than the number of chains we started with. So I had 15 chains. I'm going to count to make sure I have 14 stitches. And that's because we skipped the first chain when we inserted our stitches. So that's why we have one less. Just tilt your work and you count these V's at the top. And I do have 14. You want to make sure that you do count your stitches at the end of every row. Now for row 2, we're going to yarn over, pull through the loop. That's a chain 1. We're going to turn our work so we can work down this row. And now we're going to still continue doing half double crochet stitches, but we're going to work them into our stitch a little differently. So we're going to yarn over and tilt your work towards you so you can see the tops of the stitches, these V's. And we're not going to touch this stitch that our hook is coming out of. That's our chain 1. We're going to work into the first actual stitch of this row. So that's the very first V that you see. So I'm going to yarn over because we are doing half double crochets, and I'm going to go right into the center of that V, and I'm going to get just that back loop on my hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook to complete your half double crochet. That is called a half double crochet back loop only. So let's do that again. We're going to yarn over for the half double crochet, tilt our work so we can see our V's and our stitches, and we're going to go right into the center of that V, grab that back loop only on your on your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to continue doing that. Show you what your last stitch is going to look like. It's going to be that very last V that you see on the end. So tilt your work, and if you need to, turn it vertically a little bit, and you should be able to see one last V on the end. We're going to insert right into that, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and that is our row 2 complete. I've already chained 1 and turned. Now for row 3, we're going to continue the half double crochet, but we're going to place it in the front loop only of our stitch. So let's do this together. So yarn over, go into that very first V that you see. It's this one next to our chain 1, but we're going to go in from this side, come out through the center of that V, getting only the front loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and complete your half double crochet as you have been. Let's do it again. Yarn over, I'm going to go into the next stitch from the side like we usually do, but we're just going to get the front loop, just come out through the center of that V, getting only the front loop of that stitch on your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, going from the side, come out to the center, and now for that very last stitch, you're going to tilt your work so you can see your V, the last V. You're going to yarn over, and just like we have been, you're going to just try to get one strand of that V on your hook, the very front strand, front loop, and we're going to yarn over and complete our stitch. And make sure you do have your correct stitch count, and that is your third row done. And that's it, that is your pattern. So you're going to continue alternating between rows of the back loop only half double crochet and the front loop only half double crochet, and you're going to end up with a ribbed design that looks something like this. And you want to keep crocheting rows until you have a long rectangle that is about 20 inches or 2 inches less than the circumference of your head. So measure around your head where you would like to wear the headband, and you want something that's 2 inches less than that measurement. If you like your headbands a little loose, like I like to wear mine loose, you might want to crochet them a little longer. And if you like them more snug, then something a little shorter. And you can always try them around your head periodically and see how you like the fit. So I'm going to pick up here from my last stitch. Once you're happy with the length, this is going to be the last stitch that you place. And from here, we're going to yarn over and chain one, and we're going to make a really big loop. And this loop is going to be the tail that we use to seam our headband together. So we want a really nice long tail. It's better to have a longer tail than a shorter tail and not have enough yarn. So I think this is pretty good. This is the length of my tail. And I'm going to cut on the other side of my loop, my stitch. And you're just gonna pull through. And then you can just push that loop down and pull up with the tail, and that will tighten your knot. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your yarn needle or tapestry needle, darning needle, whatever you want to call it. It should look something like this, a needle with a really big eye on it. And we're going to use this to sew the ends of our headband together. So take your yarn and thread it through the needle, and I'm going to show you a really quick, easy way of doing that. So turn your needle to the side so that you can see the flat edges of it. Lay your yarn over the needle with the tail away from you and pull down really tight on that. And you're just going to slide that to the edge of the needle, and now go ahead and thread that through the eye. That way you're not struggling with the fibrous ends of the yarn. Once you have your needle threaded, you're ready to go ahead and seam your headband together. So you want to make sure that the outside of the band is facing up. And we're going to take the two short ends of the headband and we're going to just lay them against each other. So your inside should be now facing out. So we're going to come through both pieces of the headband here. Make sure I get my starting toe out of the way. And you're just going to go back and forth, and I'm going into the stitches of the top row on both ends. One of your edges is going to have the starting chain, so it might look a little different, but it's still the same idea. You're still going right in between the stitches. If you're getting resistance, it means that you are splitting the yarn. So you want to just go through the stitches, and that should be fairly easy to do. And that's it. You're just going to work your way back and forth. You do want to make sure that you go through every stitch and you don't skip any stitches, because skipping stitches means that you will end up with holes. So just make sure that you do go through all your coordinating stitches. Just turn it over and really quickly check, make sure you don't have any gaps in it. I want this edge to be really nice and sealed off, so I'm going to place one more stitch going back the other way. Now once you've seamed it all together, we're going to make that bow tie look. So just make 3 mountains. So I'm just holding these first couple rows together, then I'm going to pinch in the center and I'm going to hold the last couple rows together. And now I'm going to go through all those pieces with my needle. So maybe go right through the center of your work, and that should grab all the pieces. And again, it does not have to be perfect because we are going to wrap it all up. The only thing you do want to do is make sure that you stay on your seam so that everything is centered. And if you're getting resistance, once again, you are probably splitting the yarn. So this is what it looks like at this point. And we're going to now wrap. So you want to keep holding your pieces together like you sewed through them to keep that shape. And we're just going to come all the way around. And you can pull your needle off your yarn if that's helpful. To flip it around to the back, and to hold all the yarn in place, I'm just going to go right through, and I'm just going through all the stitches, making sure that it doesn't show on the other side. So I'm coming through once from underneath the yarn. And I'm going to now go back. So I'm going to make sure that I am catching a different set of stitches, but I'm still making sure that it doesn't look come through on the other side. to hold it in place, I'm going to actually skip over this last stitch that I came through. And that's going to serve as an anchor. You can do that a couple times if you'd like it to be really secure, and then when you're happy, you can just go ahead and cut off the excess tail. You can cut it pretty close to your binding, and this is just from my yarn that's split. So go ahead and do the same thing with your starting tail as I just showed you. And that's it. You have your complete bow tie headband. And you can go ahead and use this without fear, throw it in the wash, make sure it's on delicate. Enjoy! And that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and be sure to subscribe before you go. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I will do my best to help. And I love seeing your photos, so if you do make these, take pictures and tag me at @WithLoveLeisha on Facebook or Instagram. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and keep crocheting with love and patience. Until next time.